back to On Deck with Avoya. I'm your host, Chris Green, Director of Network Expansion for Avoya Travel. We very much appreciate your time for tuning in. And before I get too far, I want to say thank you to everybody that's reached out over the last month with your positive comments and reviews on our new format. This is our second episode with the new and improved On Deck with Avoya, and we think we have an amazing show to wrap up 2024 today. Our main Q&A, question and answer segment today is going to be with industry executive Camille Oliveira. She's the Chief Sales Officer for the Globus family of brands, representing Globus and Cosmos and that great river cruise brand, Avalon Waterways. Laura Burke will be along a little later on in the show with an amazing insider tip on how you can get ready for wave season 2025, how you can maximize the potential of that great part of the year. Chiri Doris is also going to be along, one of the great IAs in the Avoya Network. She's got some great wave season tips for you as well. And then we'll feature Robin Jacobs, owner of Orchid Travel LLC, for a great question and answer segment on all things leisure travel. Robin's been with the Avoya Network going back to 2017, incredibly successful. She's going to provide some great tips on how you can get into the industry and how maybe you can improve your sales and, of course, get ready for Wave 2025 as well. Now, at the end, what we're hoping is that you hear something that kind of sparks your interest, that makes you want to learn a little bit more, and reach out to Avoya Travel at avoyanetwork.com. Find out all the information about our amazing program. Get connected with somebody on my team. We've got a great story to tell. We can't wait to hear your story and just see if together it makes a great shared success fit for Avoya Travel. So again, thank you for tuning into this episode of On Deck with Avoya. We've got a great show coming up, and we'll get right to it after these messages. Welcome back to the all-new On Deck with Avoya. I'm your host, Chris Green, Director of Network Expansion for Avoya Travel, and we're so excited for our featured Q&A and a segment we call On Deck with Execs inside the industry. And today, we're featuring an amazing travel professional who represents what I think is one of the great brands in leisure travel, the Globus family of brands. Of course, that features Globus and Cosmos and the great river cruise brand Avalon Waterways. So please help me welcome Chief Sales Officer for the Globus family of brands, Camille Oliveira. Camille, welcome to On Deck with Avoya.
Thank you. It's really good to be with my Avoya family again.
We certainly love that. Yeah, it has been a little bit. So welcome back. Camille, before we get too far into our interview, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your history in the travel industry?
Sure. I actually came into the travel industry right out of college. I majored in Chinese studies. I became fascinated with the Far East growing up, and I ended up studying Chinese studies in college. And I came to Chicago after I graduated from University of Michigan, and I went to Evelyn Eccles Travel School. So any of you that are in the Midwest might remember it. But I came out of Evelyn Eccles and I went into corporate travel for 20 years and then moved over into the leisure side. Yeah, so that's kind of how I got into it.
What about the travel bug? When did that set in for you? Was travel something that was important to your family as you grew up, or was that something that just came to you naturally, and then once you did travel school, you're just hooked?
I came into it naturally. Actually, my father traveled on business all over the world. He had a company that grew internationally, and he would come back and talk about all these different cultures, and that got me really fascinated. And they took us on trips quite a bit, so we did travel quite a bit as children all over the world, and that was something that I wanted to continue doing. So why not do what you love. So that's kind of how I got into travel.
Sounds like smart money if you're asking me. Before we go too far, Camille, can you give us a little bit of an overview for those in our audience that might be somewhat new to selling travel on just how you position the Globus family of brands? Of course, we talked about the brands that encompasses Globus and Cosmos and Avalon Waterways, but maybe you could talk us through a little bit of the differences between the brands and how they're positioned.
Sure. So our largest brand is Globus, and that is the classic touring that's on our beautiful motor coaches all over the world. We're about 52% of the guided touring market. So we are the largest tour operator in the world, and Globus is kind of our standard. Now, within Globus, there are 12 touring styles. So we have anything from private touring to undiscovered touring to choice touring, where you get to pick. It's almost like cruising, where you pick your shore excursions in the different cities. But we also have classic touring, which is kind of the bread and butter of our product. And then we have a product called Cosmos. Cosmos is actually similar to Globus in terms of it being guided touring, but there is more free time and the hotels are outside of city centers. So it's actually a little bit less expensive. It's a more affordable product. So for people who like to travel frequently, we have a lot of, let's say, retired teachers and people on pensions that like to travel frequently. They will often choose Cosmos because it's a little bit less expensive. And then we also have Avalon Waterways, which is an upscale, relaxed luxury river cruise product that really is on most of the rivers around the world, primarily Europe, but we also have Asia and the Nile and just, a lot of different options for river cruising as well.
So I'm sure it's probably almost a joke to say, but is it possible, Camille, for you to kind of walk me through what maybe a typical day in your life looks like as the chief sales officer for the Globus family of brands?
Well, it's really interesting because I actually travel about 70 to 80% of the time. So if I am, a typical day for me is I'm trains, planes, and automobiles and meeting with travel advisors or speaking or, going to attend a meeting somewhere with the other executives from the company. So there's a lot of different things that I do. But when I'm home in my home office, I'm typically having one-on-ones with my team that I work with, or I might meet with the res supervisors. Sometimes I'm meeting with travel advisor headquarters. We have a lot of, lots and lots of meetings going on. And we do webinars as well. So things like this, are part of what I do too. So yeah, it's never a dull moment. I'll tell you that. There's not much of a real routine to it. We have something new now that we're doing called Coffee with Camille, where I meet with the entire North America BDM team every other week, and they just kind of share stories, and we do some sales tips and things like that. So it's really quite an interesting role that I have because no day is ever like the other.
And that kind of makes it exciting. I mean, because who wants to have
Yeah.
days that just kind of run into each other and you lose track of what you did on any given day because they all kind of look the same. So Camille, as we kind of get ready to wrap up 2024, what are some of the Globus highlights from this year? And then, kind of as a follow up to that already, what are some of the things that you are really excited about as we look into the future for 2025?
Sure. I think one of our biggest highlights this year is our launch of Small Group Discovery, which averages 15 passengers. And it's a more upscale product in the Globus family of brands. It's Globus Small Group Discovery is what it's called. So we now have in our portfolio the classic tours, which are up to 48, but they're typically around 44 passengers. And then we have small group tours that are up to 28 passengers. And now we have Small Group Discovery, which is 15. So it's a very intimate experience, boutique hotels. We have it everywhere from Africa to Europe to North America. So definitely worth checking out. And actually, it's pretty easy with 15 to do a sole use. So really almost becomes a private tour without the work, of doing like an FIT to pull all of that together. So really that's one of the biggest exciting things for this year. Also, we launched on the Douro this year for Avalon Waterways, and that product is flying off the shelf. If you have guests that want to go on the Douro, you definitely want to be booking now, because 25 is actually almost booked up already. So, and Avalon in general is about 80% sold already for 2025. So you definitely want to book in advance on the river cruise side with us. But we have plenty of great Globus inventory and Cosmos inventory available for you in 2025. And of course, things that are hot that are selling are Italy and North America, the national parks. People always love doing the national parks, and we're starting to see more multi-gen families joining. So we also launched something in 24 called Partner for Profit, which is really our advisor loyalty program. And we talk about there how we pay commissions early, how our commissions are high, how we've always had a history of standing by the trade, and we will continue to do so in the future. So what does that really mean? What it means is we do right by the guest and we do right by the travel advisor. And so we're trying to just make every effort to be as easy to do business with as possible.
So let's do right by the travel advisor right now. How about some expert tips, Camille, on ways you think agents can close more business with the Globus family of brands? And of course, that means putting more commission in their pockets.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the best ways to close more business is to actually do something around a affinity, right? And if you travel and escort a group too, I think that's a really great way to get people to go. People always, enjoy traveling with the same group of people year on year. And I think if you can pull together some people and do annual groups and they continue to grow, and sometimes you can do multiple groups every year to kind of supplement what you're doing with the lead program from Avoya. These are the kinds of things that can really help you grow your business. In terms of closing, I think, we have a great Black Friday offer on every single one of our products. On Avalon, as an example, we have free upgrades, we have prepaid gratuities, and it's up to $1,000 off on the Globus land products. So there are a lot of offers out there that will expire, and using that expiration date to get a sense of urgency to get those deals to close. And they will be closing mid-December. So, and then obviously a new set of promos will be out there. So we always have some type of promo, but this Black Friday promo that is really an extension right through mid-December is a really aggressive offer. And it's a great way, as you say, to close it, like to get it done now and have people avoid that procrastination.
I mean, talk about a nice 1-2 punch. I mean, you've got demand. If 80% of the inventory is already gone for 2025, and you have an amazing offer in the marketplace, I mean, that sounds like a real win-win for agents and, of course, the guests.
Yeah. And if you're looking for availability on Avalon, which, by the way, is the #1 river cruise line on Cruise Critic, which is the toughest rating system, there's no rigging there. It's all customer voice. Avalon, of course, the beds face the view. They're beautiful hardware. All the ships are the same. If you've sold one, you can sell any of them. So there's a lot of availability left on the Bordeaux, which is a new ship for us in 25. And the word just hasn't really gotten out. And it's a fantastic itinerary. We have several 9-night itineraries available. And then July and August are big months that still have availability. So that's where really most of the availability is. And some people hesitate booking July, August because they're worried about the water. And this is mostly advisors. Guests aren't necessarily worried about it. High water, low water, either one can be an issue. I will just tell you that Globus Family of Brands and Avalon Waterways, we do right by the guests when there's a water issue. Because our ships are all the same, if we have to move you from ship to ship, it's very seamless because the ships are identical, number one. And number two, when we do that, we typically not only refund, but also provide 100% future cruise credit. So we really take care of people. It's almost like we should have a promo: travel in July and August, and if there's an issue, you get another cruise, because that's pretty much what happens. So and I'm kidding, right? But we definitely do take care of the guest and the advisor.
I mean, the idea behind it, of course, is that you don't have to worry about making those kind of decisions based on the water depths, whether they're high or low, because a great company standing behind you is going to take care of you. So makes sense to me. Camille, what about organizationally? How does the Globus view things like preferred partnerships like you have with the Avoya network?
Yeah, I mean, we have a handful of partners that we have a very close relationship with. And Avoya is really actually one of the closest relationships that we have with any organization. And it's a mutual partnership. It's a win-win partnership. We actually share leads with Avoya, and we actually really have a very solid partnership with great compensation, great marketing relationship. And of course, you guys have Richard Hickey taking care of you, who's, best in the business.
As a follow-up, Camille, and I guess it would make sense, right? The consumer has to benefit as the end result for that to make sense. So do you think the consumer benefits when they work with a great travel professional like those that make up the Avoya Travel Network?
Absolutely. I think, again, I'm old. I went to travel school in 1981. They've been predicting the demise of travel advice. And by the way, I started out as a travel advisor. So I was a corporate travel advisor, but I was a travel advisor. And they've been predicting the demise of travel advisors for many, many years. And actually, the travel advisor population is actually as big as it's ever been now. And I think what we've seen is during the pandemic in particular, a lot of people left their corporate jobs and either retired early or, decided to do a different career, and they moved into travel. They became entrepreneurs in the millions, which are stats that are out there. But many people did become travel advisors. And it's so great to see, because we need the advisor channel to be healthy, because the majority of our business does come through advisors. And absolutely, consumers need advisors. There's more confusion and noise in the marketplace than ever. So I definitely think that, when a consumer uses an advisor and gets that real perspective, you guys have the experience that you've actually have the touch and feel and have experienced these products and can really talk about them passionately. And we count on you to do that. So it's really, really important to us. And the smart consumers are the ones using advisors. And it's not because they can't research things themselves, but who wants to? It's like I could cut my own hair too, but I'm not going to do a very good job of it. I'd rather go to a professional.
You don't want me to send you a Flowbee for Christmas this year?
Yeah.
Remember the old Flowbees you would cut your own hair? Speaking about great advisors, Camille, I assume that in your course of your work, you work with many great agents. Have you noticed over your time in the industry certain habits or traits that great agents have that maybe a new agent to our industry to try and emulate?
I mean, I think keeping in touch with your guests is the most important thing that you can do. And that is, keeping track of their birthdays, wishing them birthdays, because recency and frequency are the key to having guest loyalty, right? So you need to communicate with your guests, and you need to do it on a regular basis in order to keep them engaged and have them not forget about you. So I think it's important to find reasons to continue to communicate with them. Get their bucket list so that you can, communicate when something on their bucket list, there's news about it, or there's a promo going on with it, and I think thanking them afterwards, asking them how the trip was, taking notes on that so that you can customize, you'll continue to get better and better with them over time, the more you learn about them and really, really know them in depth. That's really the key.
So Camille, while this is a feature about the Go as Family of Brands, it's also a feature about you, the travel professional. What does Camille like to do for fun when you get a chance to step out of the office?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm doing something crazy on Friday. I'm going to Italy. My friend is doing, the reason it's crazy is I just decided to do it like 2 days ago. So my friend is doing a mileage run so that she can get her status. And she talked me into going to Italy. So I'm going to Italy for like 4 days with her. So, which is kind of crazy. But other than travel, which I do love to travel, and it's a good thing I do since I have to do it all the time for work. I do really enjoy golfing. I spend a lot of time golfing. Our whole family golfs, and we spend lots of time on the golf course. And it's just a great way to get some exercise, fresh air, and play a game that continues to be extremely challenging, no matter how good you ever get.
Amen to that. What about some favorite places that you had the opportunity to visit? Is there one that really stands out in your mind? It's like, wow, to see this at least once in their lifetime. Was there any place still on your bucket list?
Sure. The favorite places, it's hard to pick one. It's for different reasons. I love Maui. It's a place that I went to as, kind of a teenager with my family, and I've continued to go there. I spread my father's ashes there a couple of years back, and we continue to travel there now with grandbabies too. And I just love it there. It's far away. It's relaxing. I love it. One of my favorite river cruises was on the Mekong. For me, Cambodia, experiencing Cambodia and Vietnam up close and personal, the villages that you see as you go down the river is just life-changing, really life-changing. So, and I went on a work trip to Jordan a couple of years ago, and we did Petra and the Black Sea, and you like hit 5 different geographies on one tour. It's really incredible. I highly recommend Jordan. And on my bucket list is Egypt. I still haven't been to Egypt. I really want to go. So I'm hoping to do that on Avalon, a combination of Avalon and Globus at some point. And what else is on my bucket list? Japan. I've actually been to Japan, but I want to go back again and spend more time there because I kind of had a whirlwind trip there when I was 19 with my father's girlfriend at the time. And so I want to go back there and spend more time. And that's actually a hot destination right now too. And we have a small group discovery there as well, by the way. Those are some of the highlights.
Yeah, great highlights.
Sure.
Before we wrap up, I wanted to give you a chance to maybe just share any thoughts that you have today that's important for our conversation, but we just haven't covered yet.
Any thoughts? Well, let me think about this. I would say consider combining river and land together. I think it's a really interesting way to create something unique that can't be shopped. So that might be something to do as an escorted group that you could do on your own. And actually, a lot of these rivers that we have combinations that you can put together too. So if people are available to travel for longer than 7 days, as an example, they want to go 2 weeks or such, because airfares are expensive. We have lots of ways to combine our rivers, and it's not necessarily very easy to find on the website. So, but you guys can do it through our travel agency portal pretty easily and put two different river cruises together, experience two different rivers that are in close proximity to each other, because all of the rivers in Europe are pretty close together, right? In the end.
Sure.
So it's not that difficult to get from one to the other. And we have some great combos that are set up in the system, but we also have other combos that you can kind of creatively put together on your own too.
Good stuff. All right, here it is, the last question, Camille, before we wrap up. But what about the future of leisure travel has you most excited?
Well, we just got a report in that the Google searches for touring are we know river cruising is on fire because we can just see the demand and the booking, but we're seeing a lot of searches for tours too. So that's really exciting. And we're continuing to evolve the product to meet those new demands. As you know, people want to, in some cases, travel in smaller groups now, and they're willing to pay a little bit more to do that. So we have just a wide array of product that really has a fit. So if you have anyone that's looking for a land tour, there is something in this Globus portfolio of brands for you.
Camille Oliveri, everyone, Chief Sales Officer for the Globus family of brands. Camille, thanks so much for your time. Great catching up with you today.
Thank you. And thank you all for your support of the Globus family of brands and Avalon Waterways. We really appreciate you. I hope to see you all soon, and have a great holiday season and a great wave season.
Still to come on this episode of On Deck with Avoya, we've got your questions asked and answered in our Wanderlust segment. We've got a great insider tip with Laura Burke from our Early Success program. Cheery Doris is our IA Spotlight today, and we'll also have our second question and answer segment with Robin Jacobs, owner of Orca Travel LLC, who's going to share her thoughts on the upcoming wave season. All of that and more when On Deck with Avoya returns in just a moment. Hello and welcome back to On Deck with Avoya. We certainly appreciate your time being part of our new episode, our end of the year episode, as a matter of fact. And it's time for our Wanderlust question and answer segment. And today we've got some questions that are specifically geared around the idea, our theme for the month, which is wave season. And one comes from Pam, and Pam wants to know, what are some of the most effective ways to generate new leads and capitalize on wave season demand? Pam, great question, because marketing, is a little bit of a tricky question. But the most important thing you have to realize, you have to keep doing it. Some of it's trial and error, and you just have to figure it out exactly which approach kind of works best for you. In some cases, that's working your circle of influence, right? Don't be afraid to tell people in your circle, your friends, your family, those that you work with, maybe if you have another job, or those if you go to church with a big congregation. Don't be afraid to tell those people, hey, I'm in the business of selling travel, and I sure would love to be a part of your next vacation. If I can get you a quote or help you book a trip, please don't be afraid to reach out. You're also going to want to try to participate in your local organizations if you can. Get in front of as many people as possible. And then the most important part, follow through. Once you make those contacts, reach out to those contacts and be part of that, sphere of influence. And maybe you'll be the expert that they reach out to. At Avoya Travel, we've got some unique solutions that make marketing to clients so much easier. Our best-in-class marketing resource center has thousands of deployable assets that help you stay top of mind with your clients this wave season. And it's a big and. Avoya Travel has the industry leading live lead program with clients delivered right to you via our elite technology agent power. All the details available at avoyanetwork.com. This one comes from Larry. Larry wants to know, what are the best practices for closing sales quickly and effectively during wave season? And Larry, thanks so much for that question via host agency reviews. There's multiple things you can do to increase your sales closing percentage. One of them is making sure that you're a great listener and that you're asking the right questions of your clients. And one of the questions that people are kind of afraid of, especially those that are new to our industry, it's kind of a sensitive topic for them. That's the topic of budget. But if you don't know what your client wants to spend, how can you provide the most value for your clients? So you want to make sure that you're asking the right questions and you're listening as they provide those details. You'll also want to make sure that you have access to industry leading promotions, the right group space, the incentives, the relationships, because those go a long way in making you competitive. And I'm telling you, it's a very competitive environment out there. And those in the Avoya network have access to all of that and so much more. So, this next question comes from Shanika down in Georgia, and she wants to know how travel advisors can upsell or cross sell during wave season without overwhelming their clients. And it's a good question, but one of the things you're going to want to keep in mind is clients come to you because you are the expert. In some ways, they hope you cross sell them or upsell them if what you're providing in that cross sell or upsell is of better value for them. That's what clients want out of this situation. They want the best value for their money. Clients will tell you when it's too much, trust me. So don't be afraid to start high and let the clients tell you no. And of course, some of that comes from understanding the vendors and the promotions and where the value really where the value really is, and how you, the travel expert, can set yourself up as the expert. These are the kind of tips our amazing early success team shares with those in the Avoya network, and they take advantage at to have leading industry sales. So again, reach out at avoyanetwork.com and get the process started to affiliate your business with Avoya Travel. And finally, this question comes from Bob. Bob wants to know, what resource and tools does Avoya offer to help advisors maximize their earnings during wave season? It's all about the money, right, Bob? I don't blame you. You know, I love this question because it gives me a chance to really brag for a moment on the amazing resources offered by Avoya Travel. And might I point out, when Avoya Travel offers a resource, we put some weight behind it. And it's why we have the highest ratio of support staff to affiliates in our industry. We're talking resources like live agent support available 7 days a week, working thousands upon thousands of support requests per year, and making sure our affiliates always have someone to reach out to. Avoya Travel, we're just a very tech forward mentality led by our amazing agent power. That's our CRM, exclusive to those in the Avoya network. We've got programs like Early Success, run by Laura Burke and her team, helping new agents in our network launch successfully. Brand sales, Avoya Live Leads, Marketing Resource Center. I mean, I could go on and on. When things are their busiest, Avoya Travel is going to be right there with the right support. Again, details at avoyanetwork.com. We certainly love your questions, and certainly more than welcome to leave them here in the comments or reach out to me directly at chris.green at avoyatravel.com. Coming up, more on deck with Avoya, including our insider tip with Laura Burke. It's all about wave season, so stay tuned for that coming up in just a moment.
Greetings. Hello there to our future and current CEOs. This is Laura Burke, your Director of Promotions here at Avoya Travel, and I'd like to welcome you back to another quick tip from Secrets to Success. So, as we cruise through Q4, I want you to understand it is the perfect time to prepare for wave season. And this is your opportunity to set your business up for an incredible year in 2025. Now, for those of you who are new to the industry, you might be wondering, what's this wave season all about? Well, I like to think of it as like the Super Bowl of travel sales. It's a prime time to ride the wave of traveler excitement, supplier promotions, and boost your sales in the first quarter of the year. But here's the secret: the real magic happens before wave hits. It's about getting prepared. So, how do you get prepared? there's a few secrets you need to know when it comes to Wave. Secret number one, know yourself. This is all about understanding your business inside and out, understanding what your unique strategy is. Please make sure that you're being proactive and taking charge of your success because you're the owner and operator of your agency. Wave season can be intense. It's like tax season for accountants. Our top agencies in the Avoya Travel Network, they treat wave season like tax season. They are all hands on deck. They put in the time, sometimes 12 plus hours a day and up to 7 days a week. Now, not to scare you, these guys have been in the industry for a while to do that, but they all do this to reap the rewards. So I want to encourage you to structure your day as you head into wave season, really outline what it is that you're going to do. Master the art of pleasant persistence and follow up like your business depends on it because it does. Secret number two, know those key suppliers. You don't have to try to be everything to everyone. You can sell everything under the sun, but why would you? Focus on a few key suppliers and become an expert in their products. I like to think of this like Chick-fil-A. They sell chicken and they do it better than anyone else. This is a focused approach and it really helps you to cut through the noise, reduce the distractions, and become a specialist in the process. This is going to help you offer a stronger value proposition. It's also very important to know your supplier's promotions. You need to know them like the back of your hand, and don't forget to keep an eye out on the competition. This includes the supplier direct. Secret number three, know the season. Wave season typically kicks off around the December holidays, and then it lasts through March or even early April. Here's a fun fact: the colder the winter, the longer the wave. And another interesting statistic is more travel is booked in the first quarter of the year than the rest of the year combined. Let me repeat that. More travel is booked in the first quarter of the year than the rest of the year combined. Talk about an opportunity. This right here is it. So, as you prepare for this exciting season, I'd like you to ask yourself just a few questions. First and foremost, do you have a clear goal or target? What's your plan to achieve this? Pause for a minute, take a look at where you are, where you've been, where you're headed, and ask yourself, do you have that roadmap to get you to what you identify as success? So ultimately, are you setting your business up for success? Because wave season's an incredible opportunity to make a splash in the travel industry. And with the right preparation and a proactive mindset is another key component to successful agencies, you guys. But a proactive mindset can help you ride that wave to success. So I encourage you to get ready, stay focused, and get ready to make some waves. This has been another Secret to Success quick tip from Avoya Travel. Until next time, y'all, catch the wave.
When I was young, for me, speaking of Antarctica was like speaking of Mars or the moon. Being here right now is really powerful.
This has literally been a life-changing trip. Really an opportunity of a lifetime.
It's just mind-blowing. I just feel so fortunate to be here.
It gives you goosebumps. It's the experience of a lifetime.
You just had like a rush of adrenaline and energy in your body.
Well, my name is Cherry Doris with Cherry Travel, and I've been affiliated with the Avoya Travel Network for about just over 3 years. Well, in choosing a host, I did my due diligence. I researched all the host agencies and the franchises available out there, and I really had a very good conversation with Shannon Jensen, one of your specialists. And it was honest, it was sincere, she wasn't pushy. I believe she's on Chris Green's team, and she was phenomenal. She made me feel very safe, secure. She answered all my questions, and I even requested an opportunity to look at the software, which Chris Green was wonderful enough to do a little demo with me. So I got to look at Agent Power, which is the software that we get to use as independent agents in the Avoya network. And it was a CRM system that seemed to have everything I needed. So I was very excited about that. Also, the opportunity for the Live Leads program, which is unique to Avoya. And it really had everything that I felt my fledgling agency would need to succeed. And it was and is and did perform to my expectations, beyond my expectations. Oh, I am completely happy with the decision I made to affiliate with Avoya. As such, I've brought on 5 independent licensed agents to join me under Cheery Travel LLC, and they are doing extremely well. We are all part of the Elite 100 program, which allows us an additional percentage of our commission. And that's very unique to Avoya Travel Network. And so it's been a win-win situation. The resources that Avoya offers its independent agents are beyond extraordinary. I don't believe there's any other host agency that offers the same tools and resources that Avoya does. And the support network, the support that we get to the network is unmatched. Carrie and her team in support is just unmatched, unrivaled. It's incredible. Anything we need, somebody's always there for us. And the support in and amongst the fellow agents is incredible. We have our own Facebook network, and we're not competitive, we're collaborative. And so it's a family. We're a family. And I just can't say enough good things about Avoya and how proud we are to be part of the Avoya family. The tools and resources that have had the greatest impact on the success of Cheery Travel and my independent agents that have joined me, my independent licensed agents, first and foremost was Avoya University. Everybody having to complete that to get a basic understanding of the tools available and the resources available to each one of us, as well as the ongoing support, has been very valuable. And then the early success program to really, get new agents off the ground with a really good understanding and foundation of travel, whether they had experience in travel or not. There's some other learning resources available. All the ongoing vendor trainings, webinars, as well as the ones Avoya provides. There's just excellent, just ongoing all the time support videos, trainings. The Marketing Resource Center has lots and lots of tools at our disposal that we can help grow our independent agencies with leads as well as personal clients. That's the wonderful, another aspect of Avoya that's great is there's the lead program, which is highly successful, but they're also very encouraging of us to go out and build our own book of business, which we have all done very successfully independently as well. And, it's a win-win situation, and we're never in this alone. And so those tools and the ongoing support, regardless of whether you've been doing this 6 months or, 60 years. And again, this year being Avoya's 60th anniversary and still being family run, it's just amazing that it can still be so wonderful. Well, if somebody is researching host agencies or considering, switching to Avoya, I would say do your due diligence, reach out to Chris Green. He'll put you in touch with one of his specialists who, will have a conversation with you, because again, it needs to be the perfect fit. Not all hosts are right for all agencies, depending on where your agency is at this time. But it's really important to make sure it's a good fit, and they will make you feel comfortable. Their integrity, their professionalism, it's critical to who Avoya is. And so I would just, do your due diligence. I did. I researched all of them and landed with Avoya because they possess those qualities that I wanted for my agency, and the support is there. And the other, I was a sponge my first year. Yes, I had travel selling experience, years and years of it, but I still needed the guidance, and, a lot of very experienced agencies took me under their wing and really helped propel me to success. But I also, attended every webinar, attended every event, seminars at sea, every Avoya event that I could possibly go to the first year. And it really jump started my agency. Well, with Wave Season 2025 approaching, which basically for us starts now, there's several things. My newer agents, my newer ILAs, I encourage them. Obviously, they're independent agencies, so they can do as they choose. I encourage them to take advantage of the resources that Avoya is offering, which, of course, are the prep sessions, the videos that, and the webinars that Avoya offers for the various sessions to get ready for Wave. And then the various webinars that each of the preferred suppliers are offering to get ready with the various Wave offers, promotional opportunities from our preferred suppliers, because that's a big deal, are our preferred suppliers and the advantages that Avoya brings to the table with those preferred suppliers, which are so good for our clients. As well as we have weekly team meetings via Zoom. One meeting a month is on goals. The second meeting a month is on marketing. The third meeting a month is on our group events, because we do a land event every year as a team with clients. We do a cruise event every year as a team with clients. So, and then the fourth meeting a week is the catch-all, everything else we needed to catch up with, and we limit them to an hour. So we're very focused for 25, and we know that basically from now until the end of April is technically our wave season for land and for cruise. So we're very focused. We're very hit the ground running, and it basically, starts basically this week.
Are you an experienced travel professional looking for a better way? Well, Avoya Travel wants to be your new host agency. Need help marketing? Avoya Travel has customizable marketing assets in our Marketing Resource Center. Want more information on clients? Avoya Travel has business intelligence reporting and the data you need to run a more efficient business. What about technology? Avoya Travel is technology forward and is recognized as the industry's best. Find out more at avoyanetwork.com. Welcome back to On Deck with Avoya and our special year-end Get Ready for Wave Season special. Today we're excited to feature an agency that I've wanted to have on the program for a long time now, and for whatever reason, scheduling or this or that, it's just taken a little while for us to finalize this special guest. But as the old saying goes, right? Better late than never. So please help me welcome our featured guest, the last featured guest for 2024. Hard to believe that's true. Avoya Network affiliate Robin Jacobs, owner of Orchid Travel LLC. Robin, great to see you. Thanks so much for your time, and welcome to On Deck with Avoya.
Thank you finally for having me. I've been wanting to be on this for 7 years now, so thank you.
It's a good win-win as far as I'm concerned. Robin, can you tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into the travel industry to start with?
Yeah, so I've always loved sales. Growing up, I used to make little crafts. I would sell them around my streets. I did telemarketing with credit cards. I would call people at dinner and bug them about credit cards. I've sold everything from corrugated boxes. My previous job, I sold dating memberships for 9 years. And I always loved traveling. My family did a cruise every year, which I'll talk about more later. And one day I just decided that people were too picky. Everybody wanted, something unrealistic. And I said, oh, travel is the way to go. And I had booked with Avoya in the past. And I called my agent and said, how do you become a travel agent? And here I am.
So what was the process? Maybe you can walk me through that a little bit. The process that you took to go from considering being an agent to ending up as part of the Avoya network and as a very successful agent, I might add.
Yeah, so I had booked a cruise with Avoya back in 2017, and in 2016 for 2017. And in 2017, I wanted to go to the Med. So I called my agent, I booked a cruise. And in the meantime, I had been thinking about it. And I just called him one day and I said, Tim, how do you become an agent? And he put me in touch with the Avoya team. I then called my best friend and I said, I'm going to become a travel agent. She goes, me too. So we actually joined Avoya the same day. It's been fun. And I never thought booking my own cruise would turn into my career 7.5 years later.
That's an amazing story. Robin, tell me a little bit about your agency specifically, Orca Travel LLC, some of the specialties, some of the vendors that you work with in your areas of expertise.
Yeah, so I love cruising. Growing up, we did a family cruise every year, like I mentioned earlier. It was really special. My grandparents, my aunts, uncles, family, anybody in the family was invited to go. And so I started off, my first sale ever was Royal Caribbean. My first 6 months, I sold pretty much just mass market, Royal, Princess, Celebrity. I went to a conference in 2017. I heard Uniworld speak. And I go, oh my gosh, I came home. I told my husband, I said, we are going on one of these. And I just booked one for us. I came home from that and I realized that I really wanted to specialize in river. It's just such a unique product, late nights, overnights. And so that's my main specialty. But over the years, my clients have come to me. Not everybody wants to do a river cruise or an ocean cruise every year. So that has kind of taken me outside. I sell now safaris. I sell escorted tours, putting tours together myself. So during the past 7.5 years, I've really expanded into so many other things, all inclusive resorts in Mexico during COVID when cruises weren't happening. I had to get into that. So I feel like I'm a little bit more diversified, but for sure, specializing I think is very important because you can't learn and you don't know everything about everything out there. So and I'll be the first to admit it if a client comes to me and says, I want to go here. I said, that's not my main specialty, but I will definitely research it and look into it for you.
Robin, our theme for this episode of On Deck with Avoya is wave season preparation. And of course, that can mean so many different things to so many different agents. From your standpoint, share with me some of your thoughts first about what you view as the importance of wave season, if you even find it important. And as a follow-up, what are some of the things that you would do just to get ready for a whole new year as we get ready for 2025 coming up really quick?
Yeah, so you're right. Wave season is when all the promotions, everybody's thinking they just had the holidays, they're with their family and they go, I want to go on a trip next year. So it really kicks off. You're the best 3 months typically of the year for any agency. So November and December being a little bit slower, typically, I try to go over all the policies, procedures, deposit. I have little spreadsheets set up for myself. That way, when January hits, I hit the ball, just hit the ground running. I don't have to worry about relearning anything because I kind of did that in November and December. And so I feel like really understanding your main products that you want to sell, just re-educating yourself. As being in the industry a long time, every year cruise lines are changing deposit information, they're changing their terms and conditions. So understanding that going into it. So I really enjoy preparing for wave season in that way. Also reaching out to your clients if it is a little bit slower. I just reached out this weekend to 3 clients. One of my big suppliers dropped their 2026 and I reached out to him Friday and I deposited 3 2026 this week just because I keep track of everything. So for me, it's all about notes. I am so organized, a little bit overly organized. I have my Excel spreadsheets on top of Excel spreadsheets on top of paper documents. And so anytime a client says to me, I am looking for this in the future, I make a note of it. If I see a promotion during wave season, I reach out to them. If I see what they want has, dropped with supplier for 26 or 27, I reach out to them right away. So I think it's really important to be very detail oriented in this industry.
And while we talk about wave season as an overall concept, the first, handful of months in the brand new year, there are various vendors, and some of the vendors that are in your specialty, that actually have kind of the beginning of their new season, and that they're dropping their future tours, their future products, they're opening up new dates. It happens throughout the year, right? So while it's important to have a great wave season, it's also important to understand, right, Robin, that there's great selling opportunities all through the year.
Yes. So with Alma, one of my top suppliers, typically at the beginning of the year, they have their free land extension. So I know that all my clients are probably going to book in those first few months of the year because they want the land extension. But also, since COVID, I feel like there's definitely been a shift where before COVID, people wanted more of the materialistic things, but I feel like everybody wants experiences. And so I feel like wave season has really gone on for maybe closer to 10 months now. You know, you have your Black Friday sales, you have Labor Day, Memorial, like kind of like mattresses. There's always running promotions in the cruise world or in the vendor world. So I feel like it's gone on a little bit more, but you're right. Knowing when vendors are going to drop their biggest promotions of the year is definitely important. That way you can let your clients know and let them know if the price does go down, you'll definitely look into it and getting them the better deal. So I feel like they feel more comfortable booking with a person rather than just a website where that person's not going to care if the price drops. We actually take care of our clients for that.
So I'm going to ask you to kind of go back in time a little bit to your early days in the travel industry and kind of think like a newbie for a second and try to remember putting yourself in that seat as you got ready for your first wave season when the majority of your sales probably were going to be in those kind of mass market products. If you had one tip to provide for a new agent to our industry, what would that tip be, Robin?
Yeah, the biggest tip would definitely be to document, write down. I mean, I can't tell you how much things are coming at us a million different directions. Our phone's ringing, we're getting emails. So what I do is actually have a calendar, a day-to-day calendar, and I write down anytime somebody wants something, if I tell them I'm going to get back to them. So I make sure I never forget a client. And follow-up's really key. Knowing that those are the busiest months of the year, we're super busy. If somebody asks for a quote, give them a timeline. I'm going to follow up within 24 hours. Let them know you haven't forgotten about them, because if you are not working, they're definitely going to go to somebody else. Most of these people are ready to book. They have their credit card in hand and they're wanting to make this trip happen. So for me, it's just really being about follow through. And one of my big things that I love to do for my clients, and I'm always helping new agents with this, is the moment anybody books a trip with me, I handwrite a thank you note. I put 3 thank you notes in there. I drop it in the mailbox within 5 minutes. It's part of my process of booking. And that knowing that in 3 to 4 days, they're probably going to get a handwritten thank you card. I've actually had people handwrite me a thank you card, thanking me for my thank you card. So I think that most people don't realize that people love that touch, not just an email, not an e-card, but this is a handwritten card. And giving them 3 business cards, you never know who they're going to give it to. I had somebody a few years ago, I booked their family in 2018. She goes, my sister handed me your business card in 2018. It's been 4 years, we're ready to travel. And she booked a trip with me.
That's amazing. Robin, one of the things that we pride ourselves here at Avoya Travel on is the resources offered to those in the Avoya network. Can you speak a little bit to some of the resources that you're able to access as an affiliate in the Avoya network that help you be so successful with your agency?
Yes. One of the things I love about Avoya is the teamwork, the camaraderie, the help. If you have a question, we can submit a support request. We have a knowledge base. We have a community forum. We have a Facebook page. Believe me, there are so many times where I don't know the answer, or I just figured somebody else would know better than me. And I ask a question on the Facebook page or the community forum, and within minutes, people are responding back. We're all here to help. I mean, I have picked up the phone or I've messaged newbies and saying, hey, if you need me, let me know. Because we were all new once. In 2017, I kind of, so new. I didn't know what I was doing. I never sold travel. I'd been in sales, but travel is very different. So I feel like the support, the Avoya network, when I go to conferences, oh my gosh, I hug everybody. I love seeing my friends, and my friends are now my family. They are all my work family. So I can't say enough great things about the people in this network. But the support side, Chris, Mickey, I mean, I could go on and on. I don't want to name everybody, but having the Avoya support where if I do have an issue, if I have a problem, if I want to talk to a mentor, I always have somebody that I can go to.
We don't just use the word shared success. I think a lot of us live and breathe it on both sides. Those of us that work for the company and work with our affiliates, and those that are the affiliates that work with the resources offered by Avoya Travel. Would you agree, Robin, that having access to some of these resources and that shared success, concept has helped make your business stronger than it would have been had you chosen to go somewhere outside of Avoya Travel?
Of course. I mean, not only do I have the internal team, but the relationships that as Avoya's has given me through the conferences, the land forum, getting to know vendors. We have a website dedicated or a page if we need a business development manager, who we go to. And that support, I mean, there's so many times where I've picked up the phone and I've called one of our business development managers and they've picked up the phone and they helped me with an issue or answered a question, helped me put together a group. So I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that without having the support system here at Avoya. The relationships that Avoya has given me with these vendors. If my clients have an issue, I know who to go to. If I need some miracle help with a client moving money and penalty, I've gotten that helped. It's really about these relationships in the whole entire bubble of the go around of the clients, the managers, the internal team, other agents. It's amazing. I love the network, and I can't say enough good things about it. So
Robin Jacobs, owner of Orchid Travel LLC, is our featured guest this week for On Deck with Avoya. Robin, when you kind of look ahead to 2025 and even beyond, because as we've been discussing, that booking window just stretching out further and further into the future, what are your thoughts? What's the word on the street? I mean, what are you hearing from clients about their excitement level as we get ready for a whole new year?
Well, it's scary because 2025 is selling, and it's crazy that I am getting people who want to book 25 and I go, it's sold out. I am booking in 26 now. Pretty good book of business in 26, but there's so much space in 25. I mean, there's so many ships out there. There's so many destinations there. People are just wanting to travel, and I feel like people are booking further and further out now. I had somebody today say they want to book 27. I was like, calm down. Let's focus on 25 and 26. But I feel like the industry, people are booking more and they want things to look forward to. I've had clients tell me having a trip on the books, having multiple trips on the books just makes them happier. And I feel like since COVID, I keep bringing that up, things have just changed and people are wanting to experience the world. So 25 is definitely booking up, but there's still so much space out there. And I have a good feeling. I feel like 25 is going to be the best year yet in the travel industry.
Great words from Robin right there, don't you think? 25, the best year ever. Let's take that and lock it in. Robin, you kind of gave this away a little bit, talking about how your family growing up took a cruise every year. Do you remember your first cruise?
I do. It was in 1991. I was 11, not to give away my age. But we went on a family cruise and, of course, Royal Caribbean. So imagine that. And it was amazing. I tease my parents to this day because we had a room with 2 bunk beds. So my brother and I shared the top. My parents were at the bottom. Our second cruise was in 1993. I teased my dad. I think he got us a little bit bigger of a room, but it was really special from 95 on. Like I said, we did one family cruise a year, grandparents when my grandfather was alive. And it was always around the holiday time, which was really nice. That way we could go to Florida, spend a night. We would then go on our family cruise, and I have the best memories. I still have friends that I met when I was 11 and 13 years old on these cruises. They're now still my Facebook friends. I went to Florida to visit a girl I met on a cruise. I mean, it's just crazy, these relationships that you meet on these ships. And some great memories. I still bring it up with my parents a lot to this day.
So from those humble beginnings, the bunk bed on a Royal Caribbean cruise, to some of the most amazing places around the world, you just must be blown away by the things that you've been able to see and do now that you've become part of this industry as a travel advisor, right?
Yes, actually, Some of my best trips actually have been a little bit recent. Last week, I was so fortunate enough that Kensington brought me on an African safari.
Wow.
Last year, another one of my bucket list trips was going to the Galapagos. So I got to go snorkel with the sea lions. And then actually tomorrow, my husband and I are heading off for my big bucket list trip I wanted to do forever. And it was supposed to be, I wanted to do it for my 40th. Unfortunately, my 40th happened height of COVID in 2020. And so we're actually headed off to Tahiti for a cruise. So these are all things that I would have never imagined in a million years, been able to get to go on, be invited on, experience. And the best part about experiencing this is coming home and then telling my clients about it. So I was in Portugal, I had a client follow me, came home and booked 2 Portugal trips for them. Actually just booked 2 safaris this week as well after my clients followed me on my safari. So really getting out there. Don't be scared to post your pictures, your photos, everything on social media. People definitely see that the way I advertise, and they see you traveling, makes them want to travel as well.
I think the corrugated box convention is in Des Moines, Iowa this year. So I think you made a smart decision to switch industries.
Yeah, definitely corrugated boxes were not exciting.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Robin, before we wrap up today, I wanted to give you the floor just to share any thoughts that you think is vital to our conversation that we haven't covered yet today.
Yeah, so for me, it's really about getting out there, trying to go at as many conferences as possible, as many events. I go to events around Dallas all the time and really never stop learning. That is the most important thing I can say. I learn something new every day. Every day, something new in the world is happening, and you never know if it's going to be a client teaching you, a colleague, a business development manager, somebody else in the network. So we can never learn enough in this industry. It is always constantly changing, and you have to be prepared to ride the wave with the change.
Last question. I just want to get your final thoughts. I know we kind of covered it in our whole conversation, but why do you think 2025 and beyond holds so much promise for the travel industry?
I think that the demand, people are really wanting to get out there. I heard something recently that actually, surprisingly, the younger generation is using travel agents more than ever. People would think that boomers, because they're not as technologically advanced, but people are valuing their time more than anything. And they really, really need us because they want that experience and expertise. They don't want to go online, just click a button. They want to be able to communicate, ask questions. They want to be able to really understand, have somebody on their side. And I feel like that us in the travel industry, we are on our client side. I fight for my clients to make sure they get exactly what I promised them or what they thought they were going to be getting. And I feel like that the demand for using an advisor in the future is only going to get stronger and stronger and stronger, because not only do people trust us more than they're trusting the internet, you never know what you're going to find online, but having somebody to really back you up if you need them.
Robin Jacobs, everyone, owner of Orca Travel LLC, an independent agency in the Avoya network. Robin, thanks so much for your time. Certainly well worth the wait to have you as a guest on our show from our standpoint.
Well, I appreciate it. And I will see you. I'm going to all the conferences and land forums next year and hope to see you at a lot of events.
I hope so as well. Coming up, more On Deck with Avoya, including the latest promotions for attending the Avoya Travel Academy. That'll happen right after this. Well, hello and welcome back to On Deck with Avoya. We certainly appreciate your time. And it's hard to believe, here we are, our last broadcast for 2024. We hit some amazing milestones this year, including our 4-year anniversary. We're very proud of that. And our big switch from a weekly 20-minute show to a monthly revamped and much improved 45-minute version of On Deck with Avoya. And we've got big plans for 2025. So make sure you follow all of our social media channels at Avoya Travel Network. The Avoya Travel Academy heads into 2025 as hot as ever and just with some amazing results. Make sure you check avoyatravelacademy.com or avoyanetwork.com for the latest promotions on starting your travel agent education. Get a head start on a new career. You're going to love being in the travel business. The Avoya Travel and Academy and Avoya Network continue our military and first responders promotion, taking $100 off of either the package with the Avoya Travel Academy or $100 off the price to affiliate with the Avoya Network. Make sure you ask your specialist, either the Academy or the affiliation, for all the details. It applies to those that are active or retired military, first responders, and their spouses. So again, reach out to Avoya and get started on a new career today. Once you're able to affiliate with the Avoya Network, you'll be blown away with the level of resources you have access to. Live leads, smart leads, business intelligence, support technology, ongoing professional development, all of the things you really need for success in the travel industry. So again, make sure you follow us on all our social channels at Avoya Travel Network. And before we go, I just want to take a moment to wish each and every one of you a wonderful holiday season, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a great New Year, and a prosperous 2025. Reach out at avoyanetwork.com and let's make it the best year ever in travel. Until next year, take care, my friend.